"You're doing well, Hinata-chan," said Vergil, as he saw Hinata on the water of a small pond that was part of the training ground, and saw her manipulating the water with Haku being the girl's sensei in regards to water affinity. "Thank you, Vergil-kun, but the praise should go to Haku-sensei," said Hinata, as she was mixing her water affinity to that of her new gentle fist style, and was perfecting the new technique with the other girl. In truth, the two felt like long-lost sisters, and bonded right away upon meeting each other despite what Haku had done not that long ago to Vergil. The other girls didn't like that either, but Vergil assured them that what happened would not be a repeatable thing, and they trusted the half-devil knowing he wouldn't take Haku in unless he was sure. "I only laid out the idea, Hinata-chan. The rest you did on your own," said Haku, as she saw Hinata blush at the praise, and saw Vergil smile before his face became serious. "We have uninvited guests," said Vergil, as he saw Haku get ready to fight, and Hinata did as well. "Who is it?" said Haku as she sensed them now, and saw Hinata using her Baikugan before gasping when she saw them.
"It's Uchiha Itachi and another much taller person that seems to look like some kind of shark or fish," said Hinata, as she became nervous since she knew she was no match for Uchiha Itachi, much less his supposed partner, but she couldn't just leave Vergil to face them alone, and willed herself to hold her ground.
"Hashigaki Kisame. Zabuza-sama showed me his face in the bingo book and told me that was one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist like himself," said Haku, as she now had a reason to be worried since Kisame was stronger than Zabuza, but would not let that stop her from fighting beside her Vergil-sama and destroying the man she cared about. "Namikaze. Vergil, you are coming with us," said Itachi in a bored voice while Kisame just grinned at him and ready to use his sword. "And if I refuse?" said Vergil, as he saw Itachi narrow his eyes, and Kisame looked like he was going to get a birthday gift early. "Then we will make you," said Itachi, as he made a near-invisible hand motion to Kisame to move forward, and the shark-like man took out his trusty Samehada to use against the half-devil. "Fortunately for you, we need you alive, so I'll just take your legs off," said Kisame, as he saw Vergil unsheath Yamato and look at him with a look that could rival Itachi's own. "Come. So. Can you?" said Vergil, as he looked at Itachi for a second, before looking at Kisame, and saw the shark man charge at him. The 2 swordsmen clashed with Vergil, surprisingly holding his own against Kisame's monstrous strength, and the half-devil merely raised an eyebrow at the shark man. "He's mocking me," thought Kisame, as he unleashed a powerful swing that Vergil was able to block while skidding slightly when absorbing the blocked blow from Samehada, and saw the half-devil add a smirk to his face.
"Is that it? Is that all the power you have? If you're holding back, then don't. It's insulting to the spirit of the Title 7 Swordsman of the Mist and to me," said Vergil, as he saw Kisame snarl at him at the choice of words used, and began fighting more aggressively with using more complex sword techniques to push the half-devil back.
"Stop playing, Kisame. We have little time to attack before Konoha shinobi arrive, and I would prefer not to fight them considering so many high-level shinobi are currently in the village," said Itachi, as he looked at Hinata and then at Haku with both girls on edge should he attack them. "Shut up," said Kisame angrily, as he preferred not to have backseat fighting from Itachi despite his respect for the Uchiha, and was finding Vergil was not weak like reports that had originally told them so. Itachi, however, was being more practical about this, as he sensed the chakra signatures of various Anbu coming this way, and their time here was running out. Moving quickly, the Uchiha clan destroyer went after Hinata, who acted quickly when she sensed him behind her, and spun around to strike Itachi with her new gentle fist style. It would have worked had Itachi not moved faster than her while using his Sharingan to prevent Hinata from hitting dead on. Sensing an attack to his right, Itachi caught several Senba needles shot at him by Haku, and would have used his Sharingan on her if it weren't for the fact that her past experience with it was preventing him from doing so. "So this one is fighting me without her eyes. That's clever. She must have fought Sasuke or perhaps Hate Kakashi to come up with that idea," thought Itachi, as he leaped back to prevent another gentle fist attack while letting go of Hinata and keeping his distance between the two. A scream of pain directed him to Kisame on his knees after Vergil had outfought him, and sliced at the tendons with Yamato. Frowning, Itachi moved to prevent Kisame's demise by blocking Vergil's sword with his own, and was able to hold the half-devil long enough for Kisame to get up to strike. However, Vergil saw it coming and leaped back to break the deadlock along with dodging the swing of Kisame's sword. Let's see what Grim Reaper can really do, thought Vergil, as he sheathed his sword and brought out his new devil power. The Ambu are nearly here, Kisame. We need to leave. Now, said Itachi as he saw his partner grimace, and then snarl at Vergil. You got lucky, kid, said Kisame as he runs off with Aichi, but with a noticeable limp and his sword having been used to support him in the struggle. You are not going anywhere, said Haku, as she created ice mirrors in front of them, and threw Senbon needles at Kisame's shoulders to further disable him, while Itachi was hit in his left arm.
Shit, said Kisame, as he felt his body suffering from the attack, and Itachi was finding himself being pushed to use other means of escape.
Time to die, said Vergil as he prepared to slay Itachi and Kisame in quick succession of moves.
I'm sorry, Kisame, but I need to cut you loose, said Itachi, as he leapt over Vergil, and began to flee with a squad of Anbu moving in to flank him in the attempt to stop his escape, only to be blocked by a blast of intense black fire hitting the ground courtesy of the Uchiha's Sharinganais.
Yeah, I know. Come on, boy. Don't keep me waiting, said Kisame as he struggled to move, and saw Haku readying another barrage of Senbon needles, when Vergil raised his left hand to tell her to stop. You show great pride in wanting to fight to the death, Hoshigaki Kisame. Farewell, said Vergil, as he charged at Kisame with the Akatsuki member doing the same, and after a flash of light passed between them when they clashed. It was Kisame who fell to his knees before his head left his body. Turning to see the Ambu team returning after failing to capture Itachi, Vergil saw Hinata was okay, but looked disappointed in herself, and the half-devil could understand why. Hinata was trying to prove she wasn't weak, yet she barely held her own against Itachi, and had done little in terms of fighting. Walking over to the Hyuga girl, Vergil wrapped his arms around the shocked, and now blushing girl, finding reassurance from his very presence. I'm still weak, said Hinata into his chest, and she loved how he stroked her hair in a manner that a husband would for his wife.
Everyone is weak starting out, Hinata-chan. I was too, remember. We just have to push ourselves each day to our limits and beyond. Your time will come, Hinata-chan, where you will be able to show just how strong you are, and I only wish that when that day does happen, I'm able to see it, said Vergil, as he kissed her forehead, and rubbed her back in a way that made the Hyuga heiress shiver with pleasure.
I want to get stronger, said Hinata in a determined voice despite the pleasure she felt from his touch. And you will. Trust me, said Vergil, as he turned his head to see Haku walk up to them, but unsure if she was allowed to be a part of this moment, and was quite envious of the Hyuga girl right now. What will happen with Kisame's sword? If from what Zabuza-sama told me is true, then it will only... Surprisingly, the half-devil was able to pick it up without any kind of defense preventing him from holding it, and seemed to be deep in thought. I think what we have here, Haku-chan, is a trophy, said Vergil, as he wondered if that would be the correct term for that, and turned to face the girls. And Kisame's head being more than enough proof for the Mizukage mist that you were the one who killed him, said Tsunade, as she appeared with Jiraiya, and saw the dead body, and Vergil holding the dead man's weapon. Itachi got away, said Vergil, as he saw Tsunade nod. But Jiraiya frowned like he wanted to say something, and yet held his tongue on the matter. Don't worry, you'll get him next time, Gaki, said Tsunade, as she saw him nod, and walk back into the house with the girls, and then turned to Jiraiya. What? Said Jiraiya, as he saw the look she was giving him, and knew it was the talk, or I hurt you, then you talk look, that spoke of no resistance.
You know perfectly well the Anbu could have gotten there sooner, but you wanted me to delay the order, and I doubt it was to see our godson fight. So spill it, said Tsunade, as she saw Jiraiya nod his head before motioning her to follow him into the Namikaze estates.
Vergil needs to hear this too. Come on, said Jiraiya, as he saw Tsunade look at him with some surprise, and followed him into the Namikaze estates. Sorry about this again, but the pervert has to tell you something regarding Itachi, said Tsunade, as she saw Vergil put Samehada on his new trophy room wall before turning around with a raised eyebrow, and then a glare at Jiraiya. Something that you failed to talk to me about regarding Itachi team O wise Iro Sennin, said Vergil, as he saw the man grumble a few choice words, but stopped when he was glared at by the half-devil, and Tsunade currently cracking her knuckles to make him talk faster. Okay. Uchiha Itachi is not just a member of Akatsuki, but rather he's my secret informant within the organization, and provides me with detailed information on all their activities, said Jiraiya, as he saw the shocked looks on the two in front of him, and the scowl on Tsunade's face was not something he wanted to see anytime soon. Who else knows about this, said Tsunade, as the only in Konoha who could have even approved of this was Sarutobi, but then he would have approved the Uchiha massacre, and that was not her sensei's ways of doing things. Just Sarutobi sensei. The Shinobi Council went behind his back and gave the order for him to kill his clan. Officially, the order regarding Uchiha Itachi is to kill on sight, but unofficially he is to be let go, and continue his work spying on Akatsuki, said Jiraiya, as he saw Tsunade look ready to punch him, and Vergil looked ready to use his demonic power to pound the man into paste.
And you were going to tell me this bit of information, when? Said Tsunade, as she felt that as the new Hokage she should be given all the details of certain things, and deal with them accordingly like she was supposed to.
Sorry Tsunade, but Sarutobi-sensei didn't want you involved in this even before you were chosen to be the new Hokage, and felt that if you knew would make Itachi come back to reveal everything. As for you, Vergil, it was actually thanks to Itachi's betrayal to the Uchiha clan that he was able to leverage the councils off of you when you were younger, and get them off topic for using you for a weapon like Danzo wants you to be, said Jiraiya, as he had been informed of this by his spy network, and saw the angry look in Vergil's eyes. And the old man doesn't have them all secretly killed, why exactly? Said Vergil, as he was finding the idea of gutting the stupid pricks to be a very good idea, and saw Haku was thinking along the same lines as him. You know how he is, Vergil. Sensei was getting soft in his really old age. By taking them out, he essentially would have crippled the internal government in the village for a time, and he didn't have the strength to hold Konoha together while it was being properly fixed with all that was happening around him, said Jiraiya, as he saw the anger in Vergil's eyes leave a little, and was thinking of how to deal with them in a more permanent manner.
Why did the Shinobi Council order such an act in the first place? Said Tsunade, as she felt that those old morons were going to get it, and not in a good way either.
Because the Shinobi Council, as well as Sarutobi-sensei, learned from Itachi himself that the Uchiha clan was planning to take over and turn our godson into a mindless weapon, if not a prized pet to have on a tight leash, said Jiraiya, as he saw Tsunade's eyes widen, and so did Vergil's with killer intent coming out from both of them. I thought Danzo wanted Vergil to be the village's prized weapon. What caused the brief change in his heart? Said Tsunade, as she saw Jiraiya frown at her, and shake his head like she didn't get. Danzo did, or rather still does, want Vergil to be the village's main weapon. However, the Uchiha clan was going to ruin it by making Vergil the Uchiha clan's weapon instead of the village's. And Danzo has never been one to share power unless it was absolutely necessary. Sarutobi-sensei tried to be diplomatic, but the Shinobi Council preferred that the sword be used and gave the order for Itachi to do it. About 2-3 weeks after the event, Itachi somehow made contact with my spy network and requested a private audience with yours truly so he could tell his side of the story. He wouldn't tell me everything, but Itachi did give the reason behind the attack, and I told Sensei so he could use it against the others in the near future, said Jiraiya, as he saw Tsunade nod, and Vergil doing the same. Such a threat over them would have been void if the old man were slain by Orochimaru, which means had the Sandam died, they could have had near complete control of the village until a new Hokage was chosen. And we all know that Tsunade was not the only choice, said Vergil, as he saw Jiraiya nod, and Tsunade going pale at the thought of her grandfather's village being ruined by some Baika.
Which is why we're glad you were able to stop the foreseeable from happening, said Jiraiya, as he pointed to Tsunade, and the woman nodded in agreement. That was only possible because of my ancestors' power awakening. Due to my lack of training from the academy, my former sensei, and let's not forget you my oh so dear godparents, I was barely able to handle things before. I had to train myself in all aspects of things regarding the shinobi world, said Vergil, making the two wince and look away with guilt written on their faces.
Damn Gaki and his guilt trips, thought Jiraiya and Tsunade, as they knew Vergil was not going to drop the subject anytime soon.
Why wasn't anyone even told about the Uchiha's attempts at betrayal? It could have prevented the village from spoiling Sasuke, said Vergil, as he hated how everyone was fawning over Sasuke, and treating him as if he was a hero.
Because the Shinobi Council didn't want Adachi being the only holder of the Sharingan, the chance that Sasuke would leave the village if he was treated like you, and they were also hoping that Sasuke could rebuild the Uchiha clan under their image, said Jiraiya, as he saw Vergil shake his head, and had a face filled with anger.
Then I will have to disappoint everyone, who has a particular stake in the Uchiha clan's revival, and simply eliminate all three of them, said Vergil with his godparents looking at him like he was crazy.
3. There are only 2 Uchiha left, said Tsunade, as she saw Vergil shake his head, and pointed to his stomach where the Kyuubi once resided.
The Kyuubi was summoned by one Uchiha Madara many years ago when fighting your grandfather Tsunade, and then again 13 years ago to destroy Konoha. There is no other Uchiha with the power to do so, and Kyuubi himself told me before my transformation, said Vergil, as he saw the shocked looks on his godparents, and Tsunade trying hard to understand that her grandfather's greatest foe was still alive.
How is that possible? Madara would be older than Sensei. Nearly twice his age, in fact, said Tsunade, as she wondered how could that foul creature even be alive, and still have the power to summon Kyuubi after all this time. From what Kyuubi told me, it has something to do with the Uchiha's eyes, and then replacing them with that of another's. In Madara's case, his own brother's eyes, said Vergil, making his godparents now have their jaws dropping, and was quite funny if this wasn't so serious. That explains some things, but do you really have to kill Itachi? Said Jiraiya, as he felt that Itachi was getting the short end of the stick, and didn't know how that Uchiha prodigy would take it. Yes. All the remaining members of the Uchiha clan must be killed, or else this will just continue down the road when the opportunity presents itself, since Madara has no time limit thanks to his eyes, said Vergil, as he saw them nod in understanding and wished that it didn't have to be that way. Okay. If it can't be helped, then I guess they will have to die. But you will need a valid reason for Sasuke, since the village still loves him so much, and unless he betrays the village like Itachi officially did, said Jiraiya, as he looked to his right, and saw the girls spying on them. Girls, if you wanted to overhear the conversation, you didn't have to spy on me to do it, said Vergil, as he overheard an eep. Some swearing, which would result in a red head of the group being punished later, and an apology from his first slave along with 2 of the girls under his clan's protection. How much did you overhear? Said Tsunade, as she glared at them, and saw them all looking away from it like a child being caught from doing something bad. Just about everything, said Yukito, as she looked at Vergil with an apologetic look, and saw he was fine with it.
It's probably best if they know about this anyway. Haku here knows how to handle the main powers of the Sharingan after seeing Hatake in action fighting Zabuza. She could probably help teach Maeda-gai a few things about the Sharingan, and he can pass it on to Lee for future use, said Vergil, as he saw Haku blush at his praise, and the glare from the other girls from getting such praise. I'll have her come to my office later and she can write out all the details regarding how to defeat the Sharingan's primary abilities, said Tsunade, as she knew Kakashi would protest this, and claim that such things were treasonous against Sasuke.
Good. Now if that is all, I'm going to eat some lunch with the girls here, and enjoy the rest of the day off, said Vergil, as he basically ended the meeting, and went with the now blushing girls to the kitchen to eat.
Damn it, why can't I have that luck? Said Jiraiya, as he was getting the urge to write this down in his research book, and use it for his next Ica Ica Paradise book.
Shut up, Arrow Baka. You're lucky we're not somewhere else or I'd skin you alive, said Tsunade, as she made a fist, and made a warning motion not to piss her off. But you can't so tough shit to you old flat chest, said Jiraiya, as he grinned at the rage Tsunade was producing, and it took all her restraint in not smashing the super pervert to little tiny pieces.
Ow, I'm sorry I cursed for spying on your meeting Vergil-sama. Please don't spank me again, yelled Yuya, as her voice carried from the kitchen to the other room, and made Jiraiya get a nosebleed that shot him out the door of the Namikaze estates.
And become open game in being hurt by Tsunade. When Jiraiya came to from his nosebleed, the first thing he saw was Tsunade looking down at him with an evil grin on her face, and she was cracking her knuckles extra loud to emphasize how much she was going to enjoy this.
Now Tsunade Heim, let's not be too hasty, and hurting someone you care about. Have I ever told you how beautiful you look with the sun behind you and how it gives you a goddess-like appeal? Said Jiraiya, as he always knew this was how he was going to die, and regretted nothing from it.
I know it does, but I'm still going to hurt you, and even more for that flat chest remark, said Tsunade, as her eyes were blazed with anger, and made Jiraiya feel less of a man at the moment. But I thought women liked it when men tell them the truth, said Jiraiya as he gave a nervous laugh, and it turned into a girlish scream when Tsunade roared in anger like a demon before attacking without mercy.
Inside the Namikaze estates, Vergil along with the other girls in the kitchen were hearing Jiraiya's screams, and how he was sorry for calling her a flat chest. Many wondered how the super pervert survived this long and suspected it was some kind of bloodline limit he secretly possessed.
If it wasn't for the fact that the guy writes those dirty books, I would actually feel sorry for him, said Yugito, as she sipped some tea, and sighed at the liquid went down her throat. Oh, so the dirty orange books you secretly have stashed away in your room upstairs are okay to have. What would Vergil-kun think of that? Said Nibby, as she saw her vessel blush a shade of red, and tried to ignore the smug look the demon cat had right now.
Shut up, I've only read certain parts of them for ideas for when Vergil-kun and I make love, thought Yugito, as she wasn't going to read all the stuff in the book, and become a full-blown pervert. Can I get up now? Yelled to Yuya, as she was being used at the moment as Vergil's chair right now with her naked still red ass being exposed, and was finding it hard not to curse now so she had found herself yelling instead.
Not yet. Think of it as training, said Vergil, as he slapped her rear with his hand, and sensed how you wanted to curse so much right now.
Training my sore red ass, thought to Yuya, as she glared at Kin smirking slightly since she was sitting next to Vergil, and knew her fellow slave eating this up inside.
Chapter 6 Evening, The Score. Vergil moaned in his bed, as he felt a most pleasurable feeling in between his legs, and had an idea of the source of it all. Hack! The young female ice user came into his room last night, as the other girls were currently in separate beds with his slaves, and Yugito being too tired from their previous time with each other to do anything. Hinata wanted to be intimate with him, of course, but she was still too nervous in doing something with him. And Vergil had told the still shy girl when she was ready for such a moment she would know. As for Haku, after she came into his room, the young girl disrobed in front of him, and begged him to make love to her, as if it would be an apology on a physical level, and in addition would be an expression of her love for the half-devil. Vergil for his part hugged the now crying woman as she embraced him, kissing his chest while he spoke soothing words, and told Haku that she didn't need to apologize for what she did. Kissing her jawline, Vergil had asked Haku if this was what she, apologizing aside, wanted, and the woman had smiled at him before whispering a soft fragile yes to him. So, for that entire night, Vergil made love to Haku with all the passion that his body could possess, and made the young female ice user scream out in pleasure. And now here they were, the next morning, with Vergil waking up to the feeling of Haku pleasing his cock with her mouth, and bringing him to the brink of untold bliss. "Haku-chan," said Vergil as he came into Haku's mouth, and heard the girl drink his cum down before he felt her body move slowly up his form. "Good morning, Vergil-sama," said Haku as she kissed his shoulder, and wrapped her arms around his muscled body. "And a very good morning to you, Haku-chan. Though you don't have to say the sama suffix, as kun is much more affectionate, and I am not higher in rank than you either," said Vergil as he wrapped his arms around Haku, and saw she was now grinding against his hips with her own. "I know, but you will always be Vergil-sama to me, and even more after last night," said Haku, as she licked his muscled chest and kissing his shoulder. "Well, when you put it like that," said Vergil, as he maneuvered his body, and Haku so he was on top before going to work on her body. "Oh, Vergil-sama," said Haku, as she felt Vergil's right hand on her breast, and felt his now fully erect cock entering her once more. The two once again made love, not even caring that they were heard throughout the entire house, and giving the other female occupants of the Namikaze estates wicked nosebleeds in the process. Hokage's office at the moment.
"Are you sure you want to do this, Hiyashi-sama? The last time something of this caliber like this happened, it was with the Uchiha clan, and that caused an entire bloodline limit clan being reduced to a handful," said Tsunade, as she went over this situation with the man for the last hour, and wanted to know if he really wanted to go through with this.
"I'm not asking for the entire clan to be destroyed, Hokage-sama, but rather the cancerous part of it, and it's only the clan elders. I've tried to be the family man my wife loved, but after she died, the influential power she wielded on it went back to them, and they hated the plans she had for changing things within the Hyuga clan for the better. I know I have played a part in my own children's suffering, but it was only meant to stop an even greater injustice that one of them would have to endure for the sake of the other, and I wish to make it up to them now," said Hayashi, as he had chosen the lesser of two evils, and hoped his two daughters understood this.
"You have already talked this over with Vergil, which means it's quite clear you want him to perform the deed, and kill them all," said Tsunade, as she saw Hiyashi nod, and knew that the man had promised full immunity for the boy after this was over. "I do. I'm not old by any means, but even I don't possess the skills needed to take down all the clan elders, and should I fail, the risk of my entire family would be punished for such a thing that would be considered a clan affair. By doing that, you would be unable to officially interfere, and do anything to stop it," said Hiyashi, as he needed someone who was young, strong, and had the skills to wipe out that cancerous section of his clan. "Very well. I'll let him know immediately what it is you want him to do, but no one else can know about this until the smoke clears, and things are further explained to everyone, since the councils will stir up trouble," said Tsunade, as she knew they would claim the demon was interfering in clan business, and try to punish the silver-haired youth for it. "Understood, Hokage-sama. I will leave to inform Vergil of these events via messenger bird," said Hiyashi, as he set out to put his plan into action, and unify the clan into a single whole.
"Well, that good? While he does that, I'm contacting Jiraiya to have him make a better, and more friendlier version of the cage bird seal," thought Tsunade, as she contacted Shizune outside to send an entire squad of female Anbu to find Jiraiya, and to bring him to her office, preferably alive. Conscious, and still a man, being optional. Konoha sometime later. Vergil sat on the Hokage monument looking down at the people below, as they talked, laughed, and enjoyed life that they had created for themselves. It sickened him to see them so happy, as they were still arrogant in the belief that they were untouchable to anyone, and felt they were blessed by Kami in cheating death.
But as Vergil would soon make them realize, it wasn't a blessing from Kami that allowed them to live, but a curse granted by the Shinigami, and the instrument of such thing being that of a devil. Quite fitting really, as the people needed to know that they were not what they believed themselves to be, and needed be taught a valuable lesson in humility.